If you look here, it says Vauzen, the electrolyzed water generator that produces sterilized water only with just water. It's quite famous on YouTube with 2,000 views.
Vauzen is a product that is advertised to generate sterilized water only with just water. The only way to check if this is true is to test it ourselves. These red spots are bacteria, and Vauzen states that the water from water purifiers can be used. A lot of people have asked me for the review on Vauzen. Vauzen was featured in the TV show Baek Jung-won's Alley Restaurant and has Kang Hyung-wook as the advertisement model. It is advertised as a product that can produce sterilized water only with just water, and this sterilized water provides strong sterilization and deodorization. The name of this sterilized water is electrolyzed water. Electrolyzed water is produced by adding electric power to general water. However, it is commonsensically difficult to understand that the sterilized water can be obtained just by electrolyzing general water. The description of electrolyzed water is hard to be found on the website of Vauzen, but with some time browsing online, we can easily find out. There is one condition to produce electrolyzed water with Vauzen, and it is tap water. If you look at Vauzen's product description, it says not to use underground water, polluted water, and water from a water purifier. It is understandable that underground water or polluted water should not be used, but why not purified water? It is because Vauzen does not produce the sterilized water from pure water, but from residual chlorine in tap water. Tap water in Korea is to be maintained with less than 4 ppm of residual chlorine to supply clean water without bacteria.
This is not wrong, but there is more than just chlorine in the water that is created by electrolysis. I think what he is trying to say is how sterilization can happen if there is no chlorine. But there are many movements or generations of active chemical species caused by decomposition, for example, H2O2 or O. If water is electrolyzed, sterilizing factors are created. Of course, the sterilization power is not as strong as when salt is added, but it doesn't mean that there is no sterilization. It seems like the speaker does not have enough knowledge on it.
That is why purified water with residual chlorine filtered cannot be used, but tap water can be. Hence, producing sterilized water with only just water as stated in the advertisement is wrong. Producing sterilized water with Vauzen using tap water is correct though. What's important here is how effective it is. Basically, with 4 ppm in tap water, in other words, less than 0.0004% residual chlorine, cannot produce strong sterilized water as Vauzen advertises. That's why Vauzen mentions about salt. Vauzen explains that by adding salt, stronger sterilized water can be produced. Then, how is sterilized water with salt different? The data is no longer available now, but Vauzen once stated the hypochlorous acid and sodium hypochlorite are created. Meaning tap water creates hypochlorous acid, and adding salt to tap water creates sodium hypochlorite. Doesn't sodium hypochlorite sound familiar?
How can hypochlorous acid be created from tap water? I think this needs further explanation. Hypochlorous acid and sodium hypochlorite are not that important in electrolysis. That is because whether to exist as hypochlorous acid or sodium hypochlorite is not determined by us, but by nature. The nature I am referring to here is the pH of water. If the pH of water is 5 or lower than 5, the percentage of being existed as hypochlorous acid is close to 100%. And if pH is alkaline, which 8 to 9 or above, the percentage of being existed as sodium hypochlorite becomes bigger. Most people do not know about this and refer to it as Clorox, which is wrong. It is determined to be existing as hypochlorous acid or sodium hypochlorite depending on the pH of water. This video mentioning that adding salt being sodium hypochlorite and just water being hypochlorous acid sounds like there haven't been enough studies done regarding this subject.
Isn't the description of the website of Vauzen also lacking enough information?
Electrolysis is not the area most people are well aware of, so not many people have a comprehensive knowledge of it. I've looked at papers from top universities in Korea when searching for theses online. Even those papers have a wrong understanding of electrolyzed water. As they did not work on and studied this area for a long enough time, they understand that all electrolyzed water is the same, but it is all different.
These are different by pH, and the ones that are most commonly used are generally slightly acidic or alkaline. What you are saying now is that it doesn't matter whether it is acidic or alkaline, and even being neutral or 100 ppm is okay for sterilization? Is that correct?
pH is the factor involved in sterilization, but it becomes important when there are no other substances that can kill bacteria. In electrolyzed water, there is a factor that is stronger than pH, so pH technically cannot play its original role. This strong factor is active chlorine, and in fact, there are other radical substances in the water besides the active chlorine. H2O2 is also a type of radical. Radical refers to reactive substances including oxygen. Oxygen is the key here, and we also call it active oxygen.
How does Clorox work?
Clorox is also produced through electrolysis. The very basic method is to put a membrane in the electrolyzer, and other methods became available later on with this as a reference. With the membrane, the pH of water is divided. When electrolyzed, ions in the water are moved by a reaction that occurs between the anode and the cathode. Oxygen at the anode and hydrogen at the cathode are generated. Hydrogen from the cathode reacts with sodium to create something like NaOH, and chlorine gas is created from the anode. This is a method of obtaining sodium hypochlorite from the gas-liquid reaction, which recombines the separately created gas in the air. A high concentration of sodium hypochlorite can be obtained from this method, and it is used as the raw material for Clorox. There is the Los Alamos National Laboratory in California, USA. It is a national research institute. Our dealer in Texas paid a lot of money and commissioned them to check if the efficacy is real. I heard the results are quite shocking and was able to take a look at them this morning. There are all bacteria types, including Pseudomonas aeruginosa and Pneumococcus. This is a report on 14 types of bacteria that are very problematic for humans, and it says that the efficacy of killing all bacteria worked. Only with 100 ppm, this test result is something that I have been arguing for a long time. It's not something new to me, as I was already confident about it through thousands of tests I conducted. But with this credible report from an external organization, I feel more confident.